The New York Jets start the season 0-6 after a brutal, ugly loss to the Denver Broncos in London, 13-11. This is the Gang Zone here, post-game live show. I'm Ryan Sampson. That's my guy, Frankie Vittorini from U Stadium. Frankie, I'll start off right now. Just your initial thoughts. The Jets in a brutal, brutal game. Couldn't get anything going offensively. I'll start with the offense here, but let's start with that final drive. The Jets had a chance at the end to win the game and kick a field goal after getting great field position, after forcing the punt, and they can't get anything going. The drive almost starts in disaster when the ball gets snapped. Fields has the fumble. Brees picks it up, gets actually a nice chunk yardage of game. Then they have a nice run. They get a first down, but then Fields is sacked on first down. They call a passing play. And then another play, they throw to Garrett Wilson on 2nd and 15. And then they have an incompletion to Garrett Wilson, who he had wide open on the left sideline, throws late to him. Garrett's pretty banged up. Garrett can't complete the catch. It was a tough play. And then they get sacked on the 4th down and 8 at the Denver 44. Felt like they could have kicked the field goal there. I would have kicked the field goal. Your reaction?
I would have kicked a field goal too. Absolutely. Go for that 62-yard field goal. What are you putting Fields back out there for? To get sacked again? Seriously. Justin Fields was sacked 9 times today. The Jets offense had negative 10 passing yards as a whole. Negative 10 passing yards.
That's insane in today's modern NFL.
Today's modern NFL, negative 10 passing yards. He had as many completions as he was sacked. You're not winning in the NFL playing that kind of brand of football. It is pathetic at this point. Because when the defense plays probably their best game of the year, the offense plays their worst game of the year. And that's exactly what this Jets team is. They are just a bad football team. There's no cohesion. They're 0-6. They should have won today's game. I mean, like, it was basically put out there. Denver did nothing in that second half. And the Jets just came out and they just they can't put drives together when it's needed. They don't know how to utilize timeouts. They don't really know what's going on when it comes to play calling on both sides of the ball. It seems like when a team needs a big drive, they're going to get it. When we need a big drive, we don't get it. On that last drive, by the way, we were talking about this. After Brees Hall had that 12-yard run and you ran it with Brees again, right? I'm not throwing the ball there. So that last sequence, you had the Justin Fields fumble. It was kind of a bad snap. Brees gets 12 yards. Then you give it to Brees for 4 yards, right? It's 2nd and 3.
Yep.
You come back out. That was a first down. You come back out and Fields is throwing the ball. Like, don't throw the ball there. He's sacked for -5 yards. Then Fields hits Garrett Wilson for 7 yards. And then you have that last incompletion before the inevitable Justin Fields getting sacked for negative 12 yards and the game's over. Ryan, this coaching staff looks really bad after this game. Now, you're going to have people coming out and saying, oh, well, this is another moral victory that some fans are going to come out with and say, oh, they played really good at times. They could have won the game. The defense looked really good. You got to win a football game like this. That's it. You have to win. You haven't won a game yet. Denver was terrible in that second half. Terrible. What does this team expect? You're not going to have performances from teams like that are literally Denver came out and they put it on the platter. Here you go. Here's the game. Take it, please. Sean Payton maybe wanted Aaron to win his first game. Please take it. And we can't. We can't. Yeah. We don't even try to.
No, it certainly felt like a trap game for the Broncos. They were dead and hung over in this game for most of the game. I mean, the Jets held Bo Nix without any passing yards to the 4th quarter in the second half. So the Jets defense, I think, responded really well. But starting with Frankie and what he's saying about the coaching staff and this offense, it has regressed and it's gotten worse. Frankie, they didn't score a touchdown at all today. They had negative passing yards. This offense was brutal the entire game. How about the first half? The first half, the Jets refused to use Justin Fields as a runner, and it put themselves in a situation of making him throw the ball. And what Frankie is saying at the end there, where they're throwing the ball, it was a bad choice by Tanner Engstrand and Aaron Glenn to put the ball in Justin Fields' hands at the end of the game. And you can't call this as a coach and say, well, he has to be our quarterback and he has to win us the football game. No, you had a special chance here today to actually win a football game. Special teams and defense were outstanding today for the Jets and gave them a real chance to win this football game when the offense did absolutely nothing. In fact, they were negatives. And you didn't coach around your biggest weakness today, which was Justin Fields, who was holding the ball too long, was not processing the defense at all or the coverages, and just refused. I've never seen a quarterback refuse to throw the football. It's almost like he had the yips out there, Frankie, because he didn't want to make a mistake with the throw. So there became a point in time where you as a coaching staff should have recognized that and said, let's just run the ball, like you said, especially on that last drive. And again, I would have kicked the field goal there, even if it was a 60-plus yarder. I'd rather my most reliable offensive threat, which right now is Nick Folk, and all I need is a field goal to win this football game. I'd rather kick the field goal and take the chance with that kick over putting the ball in Justin Fields' hands, who clearly is not a competent quarterback right now, and he can't even throw the football downfield. This Jets offense is going backwards, and there's a point in time where you as a fan right now have to say, what the hell are we doing with Justin Fields, and can they continue to run him out there every single week? Everything Frankie said in the offseason before Justin Fields was announced as a starter, or when he was announced as a starter and was announced as a starting quarterback for the Jets, is coming to fruition. This Jets team looks like they are dead in the water right now with Justin Fields as his quarterback.
Perfectly said, Ryan. And listen, that last play, that 4th and 8, Justin Fields had only completed one ball over 8 yards all game. All game. That was to Josh Reynolds, who, by the way, led the team in receiving with 25 yards receiving. The next highest receiver was Garrett Wilson with 13. Mason Taylor was targeted once today for 2 yards. Garrett Wilson was targeted 8 times today for 13 yards. What a pathetic performance by that passing offense. And I'll say this. If they were serious about winning this game, I wasn't on the bring Tyrod Taylor in train. I liked what they were doing with the read option in the second half. Finally, exactly. Yeah, which they refused to do in the first half for whatever reason. You saw the offense sort of move a bit when that factored in. But, man, at some point, you got to make a tough decision. When your passing offense is looking that bad, maybe you bring Tyrod Taylor in. I'm even talking the last couple drives. Like, maybe you just say, we cannot have this kid out there because he's not going to be able to move the ball down the field and get us in range to kick a field goal. Clearly wasn't able to there. This kid, Justin Fields, cannot be a starting NFL quarterback right now. I am sorry to say it. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. He is not an NFL quarterback because he cannot go through his reads and get the ball out. That's it. He cannot. If you tell him, hey, Justin, you're going to hit Garrett on this comeback, or hey, you're going to hit your tight end across the middle on a crossing route, or in this out, or something's predetermined, Fields can play. But the NFL's on a predetermined league, and you're going to throw him out there the last play of the game on a 4th and 8 with the way that rush was getting after him all game, and you're going to expect him to pick up a first down there. You gave them the game at that point. Try the 62-yarder. Try it.
You can't have a quarterback in the NFL that can't throw the football. I'm sorry. You just can't play offense in the NFL without a quarterback that can't throw the football. Listen to this, Frankie. 9 of 17 for 45 yards passing, -10 total for the team as a team. And then this is the best part.
And they almost won the game.
And they almost won the football game. Per ESPN research at Justin Fields today, 9 completions. He was sacked 9 times. He had passing yards of 45 today, but sacked 55 times, which led to the -10 yards. Think about that. Think about what I'm saying right now. 9 completions, 9 sacks, 45 yards passing, 55 yards in sacks. They had -10 passing yards because this quarterback refused to throw the football and can't throw the football. So this is Aaron Glenn now has to answer these questions, and Tanner Engstrand has to answer these questions about what exactly is your game plan here on offense? Because I'm seeing tweets right now from someone who I respect big time, Mark Cannizzaro, who's been around the Jets for over 20 plus years, and he's been covering the NFL and the Jets for a long time. He said, quote, "This is one of the worst offensive coaching jobs I've ever seen on the part of the Jets, and the worst quarterback performance I've ever seen." Frankie, is that the worst quarterback performance you've ever seen by a Jets quarterback?
That's saying a lot. I remember that game in Arizona when we played Arizona. I forget who the quarterbacks were. My brain's not working, but I remember it was a game sort of like this from our offense. It's one of the worst games I've ever seen from a quarterback here. Definitely. I mean, this is like if you're playing quarterback, Ryan, and you have to go out there.
Take it easy. Take it
You're
easy.
like, don't diss me that bad. But yeah, man. I mean, this is as bad as you'll see. I don't know if it's the worst I've ever seen. I've seen some bad quarterback performances with the Jets. I mean, I've seen games where um you rather a running back almost play back there, and you're calling for Sperano to run the Wildcat all game. But this was close to it. Yeah, this is really bad. And the worst part about this was the way the sacks were taken. This isn't like you were like Dak when we had a sack last week, but it's because he slid and it was for a minus 1 yard, or like Fields was like stepping up in the pocket and just happened to take a sack for a few yards. Basically, 8 out of those 9 sacks were like him dropping deep into the pocket and really losing yards. I mean, those are drive killers. That's why this team, again, wasn't able to really – they weren't able to score a touchdown again. They weren't able to do anything again. Man, Garrett's going to be pissed off. Patrick Surtain getting his number again. But Ryan, on more important in more important things, what about the coaching staff? What about Aaron Glenn? I mean, let's talk about that halftime.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the Jets in the first half didn't run the read option at all with Justin Fields. They didn't target Garrett Wilson until almost halftime yet again. So they didn't get a first down till 2 minutes left in the first half, Frankie? I think it was that final drive in the first half. So the Jets offense can't get anything going. In the pass game, run game, nothing. They're refusing to use their quarterback's legs, even though he can't throw the football. And you should have seen it within the first 3 drives, or 2 drives should have told you, you know what? Our quarterback might have the yips and we might have to run the ball to get some actual offense going. Instead, you don't go to the run. You abandon the run. You try to make long developing passing plays with your quarterback who can't process, can't throw the ball downfield, doesn't read defense as well. And then you end up getting him sacked a bunch of times. Your offense gets no protection for him. But then again, if they're asked to pass block for 4, 5, 6 seconds and he can't get the ball out of his hands, what's an offensive line supposed to do? There's only so much they can do in protection of him. The end of the first half, the Jets are down 10-6. They get the ball and they force to a 4th and 1. And they're in their own 35-yard line, I believe, or 36-yard line, maybe possibly even the 40. They choose to go for it on the fake punt.
On their 37.
37-yard line. They go for the fake punt on 4th and 1. They get the 4th and 1, which no one saw because NFL Network's god awful with these camera angles. You can't even tell where Breece Hall, and the replays didn't show anything either if he got the first down. So we're just supposed to go off of ref says first down. It's a first down. Great. So we go for it on 4th and 1. It's like, okay, you know what? The Jets offense has been getting lucky because 2 field goals came from a turnover and a great kick return. Maybe they can get something going offensively. Kurt Warner is begging them to throw the ball downfield. They can't get anything going. And what do, Frankie? What do? They play conservative and run the clock out and don't even try to go down the field and score at least a field goal at that point. Instead, they go into halftime saying, you know what? We're done. After you just went for it on 4th and 1. Yeah. What is the call here? What is the game plan? Where's the head coach Aaron Glenn saying, guys, we need to be more aggressive here. Let's go. Tempo. We need to get a score. Instead, you risked going for it on 4th and 1 in your own side of the field to give the ball back to the Broncos if you don't get it. You get it, and then you play conservative and don't do anything with the ball. That is mind-numbing. That is incredibly conservative, and that's not where this NFL game is right now. That, to me, is a big concern that Aaron Glenn is, 1, in over his head, and 2, doesn't know the game plan when he needs to be in critical situations. And that's a lack of adjustment and a lack of understanding the situation. Those are red flags for me, Frankie. Big red flags.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's running onto the football field. He looks like some crazy high school head coach out there. And at the end of that sequence, can you throw a bomb into the end zone, a Hail Mary? I mean, it looks as bad as it's going to look, but at least with the Hail Mary at the end, you could say, oh, at least you took a shot. Maybe they throw a flag on a Hail Mary. Who knows? They're not even able to manage the clock correctly to get an attempt at the end zone. The clock runs out on them. So you take this big risk because if you don't get Ryan, if they don't get that 4th and 1, Denver's got an easy 3 and Denver's probably scoring because they only got 37 yards to go. So you take a big risk on that 4th and 1. Cool. Great. Now you're going to play what? Conservative, like you're saying, just to run the clock out.
They hand the ball off to Breece Hall that very next play after they convert the 4th down.
5 yards.
5 yards.
They threw it to Reynolds.
1 minute left on the clock, mind you. 1 minute left.
It doesn't, and that's why there's no point of going for it on that 4th and 1 with the risk of you not getting it if you're not looking to score. They didn't even have an opportunity to. And again, this passing offense has yet to target any receiver down the field since week 1. We are not allowing this quarterback to throw the ball down the field, and it is a shame. It's pathetic. They don't even allow him to do it before the first half and the clock's running out. There's no downside. They're not going to – if they return a Hail Mary interception in the end zone for a touchdown, close up shop, literally sell the team. I doubt it's going to happen. They don't even allow him to do that. This team cannot move forward with this quarterback. I'm not saying for this year. Let him play out the year. I really don't care about this year, but they cannot have this kid in their eyes as being any option moving forward. He's severely limited as a passer. The offensive coordinator is playing football in a remedial sense. It's a remedial offense. He's handcuffed with this guy, and he's not really doing anything to help him. Also, I mean, like you said, we didn't run the read option to start the game. That should have been part of the game plan.
How about that? How about that? You have one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL. One of the most athletic. I am not doubting Justin Fields' talent. He is a super athlete, and he can run the ball better than any quarterback, I could argue, better than Lamar Jackson. He is a freak. But they don't run the read option at all. With the threat of the run as your quarterback. Think about that defensively, Frankie. If you're trying to schematically figure out how I'm going to stop this offense, right? You're thinking about one thing, right? Running the ball. The Jets are going to try and run the ball against us, so we prepare for that. And the threat of the run, if I'm a defensive end or an outside linebacker or a pass rusher with Justin Fields, gets me scared because if I lose contain, then I'm going to allow an explosive play when he goes and busts one for 40 yards. But instead, Tanner Engstrand handcuffed himself, like you just eloquently said. He handcuffed himself by putting Justin Fields in the pocket and making him a passer. That was not knowing your personnel. And that's something I told you during the game in our text message conversation. I said, you have to know your personnel as an offensive coordinator. KYP. If you don't know your personnel, you don't know how to call a game. And clearly Tanner Engstrand is just calling plays off a sheet right now, and he doesn't have feel that we desperately want from a head coach and from an offensive coordinator. Feel out the game. If your quarterback is struggling to throw the ball in the first two series, you need to start asking yourselves, can we draw up screen passes? Can we get easy completions to him? Can we target Garrett Wilson? Can we make this easier on him? Because right now, this is too much. Clearly, the speed of the pass rush was getting to him. He was feeling some kind of pressure on wherever it was, whether it was inside or outside the pocket, and he was staring at wide open receivers, not throwing the ball. When he refused to throw the ball in the second half to Mason Taylor in the fourth quarter, or the third quarter, I believe, on the slant, on the flat, took the sack, that right there is concerning and alarming. You have to figure out how to make something happen with this offense. You chose Justin Fields. Correct me if I'm wrong, Frankie. Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji, Tanner Engstrand, they all signed up for Justin Fields. You knew what his deficiencies were in the offseason. As a quarterback that couldn't process well, was holding the ball too long, took too many sacks, took too many hits, and ultimately wasn't an accurate quarterback. You signed up for that. That is what the Jets signed up for. So do not be surprised when you go games like this where you did nothing offensively. Your defense and special teams gave you a chance to win this game. The Broncos nearly handed you the game, but you came up short. Don't be surprised when you get questioned in the postgame. Why did you choose Justin Fields as your quarterback? Because that tape is going to be ugly tonight when you watch it.
Yeah, and Justin Fields, for the last couple years of his career, maybe since he's been in the league, he's just afraid to throw the ball and maybe that ball get intercepted. He plays the quarterback position like he's shell-shocked. He does not throw interceptions. He didn't throw one today. He threw one last year in Pittsburgh when they were 4-2. That's not good enough, man. It's okay. Throw the ball down the field, please. I want him to throw an interception for his sake because he doesn't want to. He stares. And to your point, they needed, for some reason, they didn't come out and want to run the read option. They needed to start the game. They needed to in the first half. Now, why is that? Maybe because Fields has his concussion that he's recovering from. Maybe Breece Hall, who in the offseason said he doesn't like the read option. Maybe he doesn't want to run it. Who knows what the reasons? Tanner doesn't like to run it. He didn't run it in Detroit. You think they were running read options with Jared Goff? Justin Fields, outside of concussion he had, he doesn't want to run it because he doesn't really know how to run it. He's never been used to running it. So they come out and they try to play this sort of traditional pass pro style of offense, something similar to what Tanner likes to run and what he was running in Detroit. This guy ain't the guy to do it.
Nope.
So then they go to plan B, which should have been plan A in the second half. They go to plan B, which is what they did against Pittsburgh and what they should be doing all year. You're going to your point, you made a great point just now. You're going to slow those defensive linemen down. You're going to slow the Hufangas of the world down when you're running the read option. They can't line up on the edge and just, fly in like missiles aiming at your quarterback. I mean, they were flying all over the place. You slow down a defense when you're able to read option. And for whatever reason, they didn't want to start the game doing that. If they did, they're probably winning this game. But we got to also give credit to that Denver defense because those guys were running around the entire day. They were playing with their quote unquote P-hot. I like to use that term. But Ryan, they had a great game overall. There was not. I mean, I know Fields wasn't really seeing it.
No,
but
I don't think the Denver defense.
Ryan, they stopped Breece Hall for most of the game. Yeah,
I disagree.
Breece only had 22 carries for 59 yards, 2.7 yards.
They didn't start running the ball with Breece until the second half, Frankie, and that's when they finally started getting some going.
We didn't have a run over 10 yards, Ryan.
Can you blame him when the quarterback's not the threat at the run where they need to? They couldn't do anything offensively correctly today. And also, I got some quotes here from Aaron Glenn that are going to piss you off even more. Aaron Glenn said the passing offense today was, quote, non-existent, and you can't win football games when you don't have the threat of a pass. So at least he acknowledges that. So figured, right, Frankie? Right? The thing you do want to ask him is, okay, but Justin Fields was god-awful today. In fact, you could argue one of the worst Jets quarterback performances you've ever seen. He was asked if Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback next week. His response? What kind of question is that?
Oh, please.
What kind of question is that? Your quarterback was sacked.
That's a very serious question. That's
your quarterback had
nine
completions and was sacked 9 times. You had negative 10 passing yards. If there's not a question about you should maybe think about starting a different quarterback here,
done with this, dude.
Then you're not being serious as a coach, or you're not being true in what you said before the season that this is actually a tank job this year. If you're throwing Justin Fields out there, then I think you're truly under the tank mode. I think this offense and everyone's saying, and this coach is trying to say, we're tanking. We're going for the number 1 pick. Be honest with that. Don't lie to us and say this is a competitive team. This is a hungry team. We had great practice again this week. We're really in this. We can't finish the game at the end. The Broncos were handing you the game. And I think you befuddled this situation at the end of the first half by going for it on 4th and 1, Aaron Glenn, and then running the ball after that and not getting the points before halftime, and then going in as a defensive-minded rookie head coach saying, you know what, we'll only go into halftime down 1 score instead of going for actual points. Kurt Warner was blasting you on national TV, a Hall of Fame quarterback. So take that, Aaron Glenn, for people that are criticizing you as a head coach. That's your game management style. Then, in the end of the game, you don't kick the field goal with an actual chance because you have zero feel for the game. That's the problem I have with Aaron Glenn. He has zero feel, Frankie. You should have known your quarterback was not set to make that throw. And when you had the opportunity to kick the field goal and take that chance for a 60-yarder, you instead put the ball back in Justin Fields' hands and he gets sacked. So that's on you. That's on Aaron Glenn. Today's loss is on Aaron Glenn and Tanner Engstrand for putting Justin Fields in that situation because they should have known better that Fields was compromised and couldn't throw the ball. Know your personnel. And clearly, this coach doesn't know his personnel and doesn't have a feel for the game right now. That is a problem. And that, to me, is where you can actually start criticizing Aaron Glenn.
Yeah. Ryan, this head coach looks like one of the worst head coaches that we've had in probably team history, which is saying a lot. I hate getting there right now, but there is nothing I'm looking at that I'm excited about with this team. There really isn't. They just had a game on a silver platter. They couldn't win it. They couldn't win week 1. They couldn't finish the game against Tampa. They look like an amateur hour team. This guy came from a team in Detroit and fed us everything that Dan Campbell did there and how things are going to be different. And I guess today looked a little different at times because we weren't getting penalized every other play and we looked like we were making tackles. But you got to finish the job, man. You got to finish the job. Life doesn't get easier It just gets harder when you're constantly losing football games, and everyone in there knows is losing. You saw Garrett Wilson before the half go up to Aaron, and I don't want to take stuff like that out of context. It happens. It's football. Guys are aggressive, but
Aaron Glenn admitted that they weren't trying to score at the end of the first half.
So why would you go for it on 4th and 1 from your 37? If you don't get it, you're screwed. The game.
He admitted to it in the media. He says,
that's ridiculous.
Basically, we weren't trying to score, just wanted to keep the ball away from Denver. Is basically what he was trying to say.
Yeah, well,
that's coaching scared. That's coaching scared. That's the worst frigging thing you could do as a head coach. Coach scared.
Yep, the big bad wolf is coaching scared. That's what we're getting out of it. The big tough guy, the guy that came in here and said, this isn't the same old Jets. We're built for this. That guy wants to play tough, comes to press conferences with boxing gloves on. Hey, now, we weren't trying to score. Yeah, so why? So you were going for it on 4th and 1, what, to run the clock out? Does any team in that situation ever go for it on 4th and 1 to run the clock out?
I hate this team.
Go for it. You know what you do? You go for it. I'll tell you what I would do. I am far, far away from ever being an NFL head coach or anything involving coaching. Trust me, nobody wants me out there. Trust me. But you know what I do know? That if you pick up that 4th and 1, Ryan, you have 50 seconds left, a minute left. Throw the ball down the field. If it gets picked off, it's like a punt anyway. Do we realize that? If it gets picked off, right? Am I right or wrong here?
No, you're 100% right, dude.
If you throw a deep ball to Garrett Wilson and Patrick Surtain picks it off, which will probably happen because Fields can't throw a spiral, whatever. That's like the same thing as a punt, but at least you had the opportunity to get a flag, or maybe Garrett makes an amazing catch, or maybe Fields has a nice throw. Maybe he needs to throw the ball down the field. Maybe he doesn't have any touch. Maybe it's good when he wings it a little bit. Maybe he gets that ball with some air under it. No. We're going to run they run it with Breece Hall. And that's on the offensive coordinator too, by the way.
Oh, 100%. Who's had Tanner Engstrand's had
last couple games he's looked bad. I love
very bad offensive.
I'm not going to defend him.
He's had some very bad performances, Tanner Engstrand. Again, zero feel. Frankie, zero feel for the game. This coaching staff has zero feel for the game. Aaron Glenn shuts down the question about Fields. Will he be the starting quarterback next week? He goes, look, there are guys that have bad games. That doesn't mean you just bench him. You know better than that. It's been a steady decline for multiple weeks here for this offense. Now, this is something that the narrative that Justin Fields and the passing offense, they pile on stats in garbage time. Aaron Glenn refuses to believe in garbage time. He thinks that's a BS narrative. The bottom line is, guys, and this is where I want to be careful, but at the same time, I need to be honest here. I think we're watching a coach who is going through it in over his head, is making BS narratives, is gaslighting the media, and doesn't want to give an honest answer. And I think this has gotten to a point where you are 0-6. You could seriously question if this guy is actually a real head coach in the NFL. And I think we're starting to find out our answer here, Frankie, where I don't think he's a viable head coach. I don't want to call for the firing because that's ridiculous. Let him finish out the season. But we are looking at, and I am not kidding you, we are looking at a brutal season where this coach could be looking at a one and done here with the New York Jets because of how bad this is. This guy is botching every answer, every situation, Frankie, fourth quarter. How about this? You got less than you get the ball and you're calling timeouts with 3 minutes to go.
To then punt the ball.
Where you could have used that extra timeout in that final drive. Or you could have used that extra timeout to stop the Broncos from running the clock out. This guy has zero feel for the game. I'm hoping he turns it around. I really am.
Can I explain something?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, really quick. Let's put this into context a little bit regarding the players on the field today, right? We got some good players on the field. We do. Breece Hall's a good player. Very, very good player. Jamie Sherwood, as much hate as he was getting, played really well today for the most part, flying all over the field. Sauce Gardner, you didn't hear him much. Played pretty good today.
Yeah, he did. He held Sutton to one catch today.
That's it. Jermaine Johnson played awesome today.
Yep.
Great having him back.
Jarvis Brownlee Jr., unreal first game with the Jets. The Jets defense was
Yes.
outstanding, people. That's not a terrible offense that they shut down. That was a good offense they held in check all day today.
Yep. Kiko
Yeah.
Malagoa.
Mafunga, or whatever his name
No,
is.
no, no.
Yeah, Malaga. Yeah.
On our team.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it's
sorry,
Malagoa.
yeah.
Whatever it is. Whatever.
I struggle with those
Yeah, I do too.
those names.
Played really well today.
Yeah, they did.
Played well. Malachi Moore had some plays today. Will McDonald had some nice plays today.
Yeah.
The defense stopped
Michael
the run.
Clemens.
Michael Clemens.
You know
played
what?
awesome
I'll admit
today.
it. I hate Michael Clemens, but you know what? He had a good game today.
He had a really good game today. They got two holding calls on him, huge ones. One was a safety, put us up 11-10 by one of the best tackles in football in Garrett Bowles. Now, with that said, do you know what the Jets do? Their coaching staff lets the players down. That's the issue. Your coaches today let you down. You were out-coached again, and this team, I cannot remember, Ryan, the last time this team put together a game where I'm like, oh, they clearly outcoached their opponent. And if there is one, there's 20 after and before that we were outcoached in. This coaching staff let these players down today because these players had the game today. It could have been a quarterback decision. It could have been a play calling. Could have been differences in play calling in the first half. It could have been decisions before the half. It could have been decisions in the second half. It could have been a decision at the end of the game to go and kick a 62-yard field goal because your quarterback isn't converting a 4th and 8. But, like always, our coaches have their heads up their rear ends, and you get another L, and you're 0-6. So, I don't know. I thought we were going to win the game.
Yeah, I thought so too. Denver was handing the game to them.
Trending in that direction.
Denver was giving the Jets a prime opportunity to get their first win of the season, and I mean that wholeheartedly. The Jets outplayed them in defensive and special teams. They forced a turnover early, Frankie. Their first turnover this season, they got one. They got great returns, I thought, today. Benguanu on the kick return, and I think Williams had some nice plays in the return game. They were playing better. They were playing better in those two phases of the game. But offensively, you played right into the Denver Broncos defense where you called a game plan to put Justin Fields as a pocket passer. You didn't call read options with him as a threat as a runner until the second half, which was too late already at that point. And your offense couldn't get anything going. And then you tried to I don't know what that was at the end of the first half where you said, I'm not trying to score there. I'm just trying to keep the ball away from the Broncos. That's literally you admitting you're coaching scared. That's what Aaron Glenn's doing, people. He's coaching scared. And he'll never admit that. He'll never that's where I as a fan and the media should call him out and be like, listen, dude, we're seeing it as it is. You're not coaching this game. You're not coaching this game to win. Like that's what it looks like right now. And you're blowing these chances. So I don't have much else to say, Frankie. Like, I gotta be honest with you. I think we should try and be positive here a little bit, which is hard to say because they're 0-6. Aaron Glenn is the worst start ever as a rookie head coach in Jets history. They finally got their first turnover today, but we have to hand out flowers to someone. I'll start with you, Frankie. Who are you handing flowers out to today? I know I have mine.
You know what, man? I'm going to hand out my flowers to Jermaine Johnson. I think I took your guy. Did I?
No, you didn't.
Okay. All right, I'm going to give it to Jermaine Johnson. I just think having him back on the field just makes everything look better, makes things more cohesive. You see us playing the run better. You see there's more energy on defense. He's a leader out there, Jermaine Johnson. So you see the guys playing a lot better up front, behind him, sideline to sideline. So I'm giving my flowers to Jermaine Johnson. It's nice to see him out there. I love when he plays. I don't think he's some generational talent or something at edge, but he's a quality football player. And the more Jermaine Johnsons you have on your team, the better you'll perform as a whole. So flowers, Jermaine.
I like that pick a lot. That's really good. Jermaine was awesome today. You could tell how much better this defensive pass rush was, and just defense as a whole. They played more hungry. I'm going to go with a guy on the back end to go with Jermaine on the defense. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. How about him today? Punched the ball out to force the fumble. Took on a double team on a wide receiver screen. Blew up that play. He shot on remember it was actually the first time that any offense was in the red zone.
Yeah.
Shot up on the run play. Made the loss for tackle on J.K. Dobbins. I think Jarvis Brownlee Jr. actually brings juice and energy to this defense, brings a nastiness, a toughness that they've needed. Sherwood played really well today, I think, overall. I got to give credit to Jarvis Brownlee, though. I think he helps these other guys feed off his energy. You could tell they were playing faster. They were playing more confident. Did they get bailed out in the first half by a couple bad penalties? Absolutely. But the second half, you have to give credit to a defense that shut them down in the second half. And your offense really put them in a bad situation because they weren't putting any long, sustainable drives. The Jets defense had to continue to go out there and make stops, which is nothing new for this team, let's be honest, where this defense has to bail out the offense because of how inept it's been. So those are two good picks for the giving our flowers out. Final thoughts, Frankie, on Justin Fields. Is there actual credible reason for the Jets to actually consider changing the quarterback? A lot of people are saying, listen, this was on Justin Fields. He's afraid to throw the football. It doesn't look great right now. And the Aaron Glenn's answers are no better. So if you're running this team, are you making the change of quarterback next week?
I'm not, but you know what I'm doing? I'm completely changing the approach next week. I'm going to Justin this week. I'm going to say, hey, we're going to change up the approach next week. We're going to have you throw the football down the field a bunch and see if you can do it. So I would go the next 2 or 3 games, and I would just let him throw the ball down the field. I'm talking 15, 20, 30 yards down the field. If he can't do that.
What happens if he just doesn't throw it? That's the problem.
Well, then take sacks, and you might get another
concussion. That's what he did today, though. He didn't throw it. He took sacks. Well, he took 9 of them.
Well, Ryan, if you want to see what you got in this kid, which we're starting to figure it out now, that there's no possible way this team already. Yeah, we guaranteed him, $30 million. There's no possible way this team is going to go into next season with Justin as your starter. If you really want to put a bow on it or you want to put the cherry on top as to that decision being made, I would literally go out next week and just have him try to throw the ball all over the yard. Force him to. Tell him you have to throw the ball down the field. You have to complete a ball
I don't think
over
he's
11
capable.
yards.
I don't think he's capable of it.
Well, if he's not, then you have your answer. Then
I've never seen a quarterback afraid to throw today, and that's exactly what happened.
Well,
he held on to the ball, which forced his offensive line to try and block for him longer, which forced all these sacks. I understand Denver has a good defense, but there's no way. We saw it. Mason Taylor was open in the flat. He had Garrett Wilson open for a first down multiple times. He hit him late on that final drive. Like, the guys are running there open. It's taking him too long to look and read, and he's afraid to throw the football. If you have a quarterback that's afraid to throw a football and a coach that's afraid to coach to win, what exactly do we have here?
Ryan, this is the thing that I talked to you about in the offseason. You know, I had to bring up an offseason point. Ryan, I foresaw something like this happening, right? Like, I looked at Justin Fields and I said, there's going to be a point in the season we're probably going to be out of it, and there's no point to continue to put Justin out there. Now, what's the point of putting Tyrod Taylor out there when he's just a backup quarterback? There's no upside with Tyrod Taylor. It's not you put Tyrod out there and he's going to play so well that you're going to consider starting him. That's why I wanted to draft a quarterback, because if we had Riley Leonard on the roster, or Will Howard on the roster, or Shedeur Sanders on the roster, or somebody else on the roster that's a young quarterback, you can at least throw them out there and say, hey, let's try him out. Who knows? Maybe he's a perennial backup here. Maybe he's pretty good. Maybe we can go into next season if we're going to bring in a rookie and, you know, he could start. You're in a lose-lose right now. They're going to start Justin 100% next week. You saw what Glenn said. And there's no upside with Justin next year. And there's no upside with Tyrod Taylor because he's getting older. So he's old. Excuse me. Not getting older. He is old. He's beat up and old. That's your quarterback selection pool right there. I doubt they're going to bring up Cook.
Which makes you wonder. It makes you wonder.
But they probably should.
It makes you wonder. Again, is Aaron Glenn in over his head? I think he is. I think it's clear. And I hope Woody's paying attention. Like, this is what you chose. You chose to interview 50 different candidates, and this is what you got. This is what your conclusion came to. Thank you, Jets 33rd team. Mike Tannenbaum, really appreciate it. Like, this was your recommendation. You chose to go with Justin Fields. You chose to go with Aaron Glenn. Right. You chose to go with a rookie GM, a rookie offensive coordinator.
Doesn't it
I guess we shouldn't be shocked anymore, right? We shouldn't be shocked anymore.
We shouldn't, but doesn't it seem like, Ryan, if a few moves were made correctly here, one correct move there, one there, this team could be competitive. They could. They got players. I mean, it's not like this. This is not like.
But we say this every year, where we think that they have players, and then we find out really this Jets team really isn't that good. They're not. They're not a good team, Frankie.
Like, no, they're not. But they're also continually the worst coach team in football. Like that is just an MO. Like no matter what happens, we're going to be outcoached in this particular game. I don't remember the last time we outcoached a team.
I'll give credit to the defense and I'll give credit to the special teams. Those guys showed up today. The defense showed up today. Special teams showed up today. Offense was completely missing because their quarterback was completely inept. And I don't blame the offensive line. I don't blame the wide receivers. Don't blame the tight ends. Don't blame the running backs. I blame the quarterback. And I blame the offensive coordinator, and I blame the head coach for not knowing what the hell was going on during the game. The fact that you admitted that you were trying to keep the ball away from Denver in the first half is inexcusable. People were literally making fun of us on social media about what you did there at the end of the first half. I had people texting me that I haven't heard from in weeks and months going, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't think anyone knows what's going on anymore with the Jets. But the narrative that they're competitive, Frankie, will stay there because Aaron Glenn will tell you this was a one-score game and we had a chance at the end of the game. So we were competitive in this game. But when in actuality, that's gaslighting because if you look at what the product was on field, you had negative 10 passing yards. No one's going to defend that, but you are. You're the only one that's defending that.
You are when that's the case. And on top of negative 10 passing yards, you were sacked 9 times, which obviously plays into that. You couldn't establish a running game either. So it's not like you had negative 10 passing yards and you were running the football. No, you weren't. You had 31 carries for 92 yards on the ground, of which your quarterback had 7 of those carries. 3 yards a carry. You almost average under 3 yards a carry. You were at 3 exactly. So, I mean, this offense looked so bad today. I mean, this was like reminiscence of as bad as a Zach offense or those backup quarterbacks that we've had in the past, that carousel going on. This was as bad as those guys and even worse almost today. When your defense played their best game of the season, your offense played their worst game of the season. And that's the New York Jets in a nutshell for you. There's never consistency on both sides of the football or on all 3 levels. And you had a chance to win the game. And you know what the theme of today is? You had a chance to win the game and you didn't even try, because that last play should have not have been a 4th and 8. Let Justin drop back again and get killed again. Like Fields is going to complete a 4th and 8 against that rush that we spoke about. And now has 30 sacks on the year. The Broncos.
To your point there. How is anyone not telling Aaron Glenn, Coach, what are we doing?
Yeah, go kick the field goal.
Kick the field goal.
Who cares if it's 10 yards short? No one's going to hate you.
No one's going to hate you for kicking that field goal, man. Just take the chance there. And that's, again, a coach coaching scared, Frankie. And that's what I'll call it and leave it there. Coaches coaching scared. Quarterbacks afraid to throw. This is a team during spooky season, Halloween. They're afraid to do anything right now, right? And you could see it. You could see it on the field. Luckily, the defense showed signs today. Luckily, the special teams looks like it turned today and got better. You had great kicking from Nick Folk. You had good returns. Like, those are positives you can actually take out of this. And I'd be proud of that. But the offense was scared and the head coach was scared, and you could see it on the field. That's what the end product was. And that's why the Jets are 0-6 right now. The worst team in football. Welcome to the Gangs All Here postgame show, everyone. We're going to be here all season long. And I know some comments.
So we almost had 300. We have like
chat was awesome. No, we have way more than that. Chat's awesome today. We appreciate all the comments. I'm reading all of them. You're cracking me up, people.
Right, let's stay on. Let's stay on for
no. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go watch real football now because that was not real football today. We hope all of you enjoy this. We're going to be back next week. Hit that like and subscribe button on the New York Post Sports YouTube channel. Frankie and I will be doing this live after every game. And we obviously will talk to Kaz tomorrow or maybe later this week because he's coming back from London. And then we'll do our preview show next week. But we appreciate all you guys coming on and watching us, and be a therapy session for us as this team continues to find new lows that Frankie highlights every single week with me. And we'll figure out where this team is going next week. All right, Frankie?
Ryan, I really just don't want to do this anymore. Can I switch fan bases?
No.
Hold on. What do I have to do? What are the steps?
The team has to stay in London. Hang on. The only way.
Okay, I'm down with
that.
The
team has to completely.
The London Jets?
If they move their franchise to London, which I think the NFL wants, then you can abandon them.
And I could go to a new team. I don't have to stay with the Jets.
We'd have to talk about that. You'd
probably
have to do some ritualistic things to figure out how to do like rooting for the next team.
I'm heavily considerate. I'm open to all opportunities. By the way, any team, I'll gladly accept.
He's staying a Jets fan right now.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Unfortunately,
All right, we'll catch you next week, everyone. I'm not saying go Jets because they don't deserve it. 0-6. Oh boy. We'll see you next week, everyone.